What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Independent Experience. I'm IndyXP Bullion, and this is your morning market wake-up call for Tuesday, September 29th, 2020. Guys, let's go ahead and jump right on into the markets and see where we're going to be starting today off at. Gold has made a nice little push overnight, currently at $18.94.42. Silver had a great day yesterday, and it looks like the good times are continuing to roll today. Silver's back over $24, currently at $24.07, giving us a ratio down at 78.70. Platinum is pushing closer to $900 again, currently at $892.50, and palladium is pushed over $2,300 at $2336.96. In other metals markets, rhodium gained $200 yesterday, currently at $12,900. Copper is down 1 penny at $2.95. Nickel is at $6.54. Aluminum is at 79 cents. Zinc is at $1.08, and lead is at 82 cents. Barrels of crude oil saw some gains yesterday, but we did lose some of those overnight. Barrels are down at $40.28. We had a positive day on Wall Street yesterday. The Dow Jones was up 410 points at 27,584.06. The Nasdaq was up 203 points at 11,117.53, and the S&P 500 was up 53 points at 3351.60. We did see a little bit of a pullback on the U.S. dollar index yesterday. It's currently at 94.07. If you guys trade in Bitcoin, those are down slightly, currently at $10,788.84. And if you happen to exchange gold back, whether the Utahn or Nevadan, those are exchanging at $3.16 today. In today's video, we're going to do a little bit of a history lesson. This comes to us from Reuters. Yesterday evening, Pelosi eyes possible U.S. House role in calling presidential election. The U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi is rallying Democrats to prepare for a once-in-a-century scenario requiring Congress to decide the outcome of a presidential election if neither Democrat Joe Biden nor President Donald Trump wins outright. In a campaign letter to colleagues, Pelosi told her fellow House Democrats that recent comments by Trump demonstrate that he could ask the House to decide the race if it is not clear which of the two candidates had received a minimum of 270 Electoral College votes in the November 3rd presidential election needed to gain office. Trump has repeatedly questioned the security of mail-in ballots, which could take a while to tabulate given the high number of voters likely to use them this year due to the pandemic. Democrats fear that the president could attempt to have the count of those votes cut short in an attempt to have the election outcome determined by the House. Under the U.S. Constitution, the House would vote by state delegation to settle such a contest, which each state casting just a single vote. While Democrats control the chamber by 232 seats to 198, Republicans control the majority of 26 state delegations versus 22 for Democrats. Pennsylvania's delegation is tied, while Michigan has a 7-6 split between Republicans and Democrats, and an additional seat is held by a Libertarian. The House has not determined the outcome of a presidential election since 1876. Pelosi called on Democrats for an all-out effort to capture additional Republican-held House seats, which they might need if a decision on the presidential election spills into the next year. She also urged Democrats to marshal resources to support the House Majority PAC, a political action committee committed to promoting Democratic candidates for the House. The article does continue. It just kind of goes on about the Democrats' PAC. But the one thing of note in this article that I wanted to bring back up was the election of 1876. This is probably an election that not many of you guys remember. from history class in high school. But this election pitted Rutherford B. Hayes and his running mate William Wheeler and Samuel Tilden, the Democrat from New York, whose running mate was Thomas Hendricks. This one was a hotly contested race. It was this is actually from the Wikipedia page for the election. It was that important that it has its own Wikipedia page. The 1876 United States presidential election was the 23rd presidential election held on Tuesday, November 7th, 1876, in which Republican nominee Rutherford B. Hayes faced Democrat Samuel Tilden. It was one of the most contentious and controversial presidential elections in American history and gave rise to the Compromise of 1877, by which the Democrats conceded the election to Hayes in return for the end of Reconstruction and the withdrawal of federal troops from the South. After the controversial post-election process, Hayes was declared the winner. This is a very lengthy article, and I might even actually do a video on this election leading up to our general election this year. But it's great reading. It was there were all sorts of weird things that happened in that election, and you thought 2000's election was crazy. I think we're preparing for one that is every bit as crazy as what we saw in 2000, and certainly sounds like we're well on our way to having an election that might be like the 1876 election. So, guys, I want to know what you think. Do you think that this presidential election is going to go down to a delegation to determine, or do you think one of the candidates is going to get 270? We don't need to get political down in the comments, but it's going to happen. I mean, it's 2020, guys. This is just how this year is going. Oh, God. It's been a rough one. So, let me know what you guys think about what's going to happen in this upcoming election. Also, let me know what you think is going to happen. How's this going to affect precious metal prices and how things go on Wall Street for the next, what we got? 6 weeks before the election now, or 5.5 weeks leading up to the election. I mean, it will be a Tuesday, so let's see. Yeah, say 5 weeks. 5 weeks to the election. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm anxious to hear what you guys have to say. Guys, I do greatly appreciate every single one of you, and if you happen to appreciate old IndyXP, why don't you go ahead and do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button for me right there. Helps me out immensely. If you happen to be new to the independent experience and you want to keep up to date on when all the latest and greatest content's coming out, go ahead and consider smashing that subscribe and jingle bell right there in the corner bing bong so you can keep up to date on when all that new content's coming out. If you want to catch up on the back catalog, we're going to post the box right here. Make sure you get in on that. Pow. Guys, I have been IndyXP Bullion from the Independent Experience, and I'm here again to remind you, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find your pockets heavy.